This is the Fantasy Roadshow.
Good morning, everybody. Sprechen Sie Deutsch, live from Germany. We're watching the Giants and the Panthers, and Daniel Jones is putting on a clinic. Everybody, watch out. But welcome into another episode of the Fantasy Roadshow. It is a Sunday live stream. Every Sunday, 10 a.m. We are here. My name is Truck, and I'm joined as always by Shane O'Mac. You guys know the drill. We're talking last-minute start-sit questions, talking over the slate, who we like, who we don't like. Getting into a lot of fun stuff today. Before all that, please like the video, subscribe to the channel. Get your boys here every Sunday at 10 a.m. Shane, how are you doing on this beautiful Sunday morning?
Guten Morgen, guten Tag.
Guten Morgen.
I want to know, like, how do you say bench Daniel Jones in German? Because please, in the misery for all of us Malik neighbors, managers out there.
I mean, yeah, it's tough, man. This is tough. This is tough to watch, and a great matchup too against the Panthers. You would expect Daniel Jones to be able to do something today, but that is not the case. He is struggling quite a bit. So
yeah, and it's just they're not like, what frustrates me is they're not even like getting him easy touches, like little bubble screens or little reverse runs, or stuff that's just easy stuff to get him the ball. They're not manufacturing anything, and
yeah, just get the ball in his hands. He's the best player on the field. Get him the ball. It's that simple, right? It should be that simple, but apparently not. So we'll see what happens. But today we're talking over the slate. Got a lot of good games on the slate today. We got Cleveland is on by, Green Bay is on by, Vegas, Seattle. A lot of good games though. I'm really looking forward to the Chicago Bears game. I'm hoping that it's not a complete dumpster fire. Actually, you know what? Maybe I would be hoping for a loss today so that Eberflus is fired.
But then, like, I saw the thing this week, like Ryan Poles said, like, no, he's not going to be fired this week, no matter what. And he's probably going to be back next week or something like that. Or next year.
As much as I trust Ryan Poles, it's not up to him.
Yeah.
He's not the one making the call whether or not Eberflus is going to be fired. I don't know if you saw the report that came out. McCaskey, she sent a 3-letter or 3-worded note to Matt Eberflus over the week, and it said, be careful, Matt. That's all it said. 3 words, be careful, Matt. And I think if we lose this game at home against the Patriots, there's no way he's our coach next week. So I don't know what they do as an interim head coach without Eberflus, but I don't know. Maybe that gives the Bears some juice that they need. This should be a win today. At home against the Patriots. Bears are due for a win. I just can't muster up to bet any money on the Bears today.
No. Yeah.
He's soft. Eberflus is soft, man. And it's not just him too. It's Shane Waldron. Like it's week 10 and we already need to revamp everything. So B Cork, how you doing, buddy? Welcome into a beautiful Sunday morning. Glad to see you. Glad you're here. All right. Well, let's talk about we'll talk about inactives as they come through around 10:30. So a little bit later on, we'll talk about some questionable players. But let's just talk about the Bears and the Patriots game since we brought it up. Shane, what do you think in this game?
So I think it should be Chicago win. Like, I don't think I want to start anybody on the Patriots side. I don't want to even start Stevenson. Stevenson got a little lucky last week. Like, there was a pass interference call, so he got a goal line rushing touchdown, and that fluky end of the game throw that May had. But I think they'll be shutting down Stevenson and May, and I think this is probably whatever the under is that's coming under in this game. It's probably like a
38.5.
Yeah, 20. I'd say it's like a 20-3 game, something like that.
Yeah, it is the lowest over-under of the week. And B Cork with a timely question: Stevenson or Pollard? Now, here's the thing: the Bears' defense isn't the run defense isn't that great. Like the Bears, that is one spot that the Bears are susceptible to. So I think it is possible that Stevenson does get enough yards and possibly sneaks in a touchdown for that. But I what do you think here? Tennessee taking on the Chargers, so tough matchup for Pollard. I think I'd go Stevenson over Pollard and just hope for the best.
Yeah, I would too. I'd go Stevenson. I was just looking over their last 3 games. Bears have given up almost 150 yards rushing per game.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is. quite a
Who'd
bit
you
more.
start? Who'd you start in the flex? Hunt, Swift, or CMC? We got Christian McCaffrey back in lineups today. People are itching to start him. Do we want to start CMC at Tampa Bay? We got Hunt in a good matchup. I think Hunt has a good game today. Or DeAndre Swift also has a great matchup.
I'm putting CMC in there. I don't think I was listening to reports early this morning saying he's actually been fine for a couple weeks, no pain, nothing. They've just been extra cautious with him. Were even saying like they were going to rotate series with him and Garindo or him and Mason. But
Yeah.
as each day of practice went on, they said they don't need to probably do that this week. So I'm going to go with CMC. Tampa Bay has given up almost 170 yards rushing in their last 3 games per game. So I'm putting CMC in there.
Yeah, and I saw the report that said he should be expecting about 20 touches today. And anytime CMC gets 20 touches, you're going to want to start him. So,
Yep.
And I think he finds the end zone in his first game back. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, CMC is my vote as well. CD Lamb or Devontae Adams. Shane.
Well, that's easy. Isn't Devontae no, Devontae's playing at Arizona.
At Arizona, good matchup.
Good matchup, and CD's got home against Philadelphia.
Tough matchup.
Tough matchup. Yeah, I'm going Adams. I just think
Mm-hmm.
let's just not even talking about the quarterbacks that's playing for Dallas, but it just seems like each week him and Rodgers have gotten more on track. And last week he really came to that conclusion of like they're really on track. And I think you're just going to see another heavy target game from him this week.
Yeah, and Adams, he's used to playing at places where he doesn't have a great wide receiver too, right? Where he gets all the focus of the defense. Now you got Garrett Wilson, who's taken a huge focus from the defense because you have to focus on Garrett Wilson. He's that good. So Devontae Adams is gonna open up. I think he's gonna have a good game. So I'm gonna go Adams over CD. You just can't trust any Cowboys in this matchup.
Yep.
BTJ or Jameson. Jameson is back from his suspension. BTJ, did you see the reports this morning about Trevor Lawrence?
I did.
Possibly out for the remainder of the season.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So that's going to be tough. Minnesota's defense is pretty susceptible to the pass, so BTJ could have a good game, but I'm going Jameson Williams here at Houston. I think Detroit's going to lay it on Houston today, and I think Jameson's going to make an impact in his first game back.
I'd probably go B Cork. I'm going to lean BTJ. I think Mac Jones will probably come in. Usually the backup comes in and heavily targets the number 1 receiver. Jameson Williams is going to be he wasn't a very heavily targeted guy before. He's competing with St. Brown, Laporta, the running backs. He could always have the big one, 60-yard touchdown play. I'd probably err on the side of the higher floor with BTJ, and I think Mac Jones does enough in that game where they're going to be behind.
Yeah, that's a good point. It is against the high floor against or high ceiling against a low floor. So depending on your matchup, what do you need? Are you expected to win? Did you have Jamar Chase in your lineup? Are you ahead by 50, 60 points? Then you should probably go BTJ. But if you're losing and you're facing Jamar Chase, might want to go Jameson Williams. Definitely think about that. Dylan Fink, what's going on, Dylan? Full PPR, different leagues. Starts at 1 running back. It's an ugly situation. Akers or Rodriguez? Oh, my God. 1 quarterback, Baker or Kyler, and 1 flex / 1 tight end, Pearsall, Odunze, Fergie, Hunter Henry. All right, so let's unpack the first one, right? Running back, it's an ugly situation. I'm going Akers. We saw Akers a lot last week, and I'm just praying in this particular situation for an Akers touchdown. Can't really trust Rodriguez, so I'm going Akers. Shane, what do you think there?
I think so too, because let's look at the matchup. So Akers playing against Jacksonville, maybe they're up in the second half, so he gets more work. Brian Robinson is not playing this week, but this is a very tough matchup against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is very tough against the run, only giving up 90 yards rushing per game. So I think the matchup's better for Akers. Hope for just some fourth quarter garbage time stuff.
Absolutely. All right, then we have Baker or Kyler. Now Baker is playing San Francisco. He's at home, and Kyler Murray is at home against the New York Jets. I'm going Baker. Baker has shown, I think he's number 1 in touchdowns and number 2 in passing yards.
Yeah.
So he is like cream of the crop right now as far as quarterback efficiency. He's still getting it done without his 2 receivers. You got K-Dot in there, and it should be a good game against San Francisco. Over under is 50.5, which is the highest of the week. So that's a lot of points scored there. So I'm going Baker, and I think you're agreeing with me there.
Yep, it's Baker for me too.
Okay. And then one flex, one tight end. We got Pearsall or Odunze. I'm going to go Odunze. We've seen with the Bears offense, DJ Moore just seems checked out, and Odunze is increasing that relationship with Caleb Williams. So I'm expecting Odunze to outperform his expectation this week. And then Fergie or Hunt, I'm going to go Hunter Henry. Ferguson is my red light tight end of the week. Hard to trust him in this matchup. And Hunter Henry, he can go off at any point. Bears secondary is really good at stopping wide receivers, so that might open things up for Hunter Henry.
Yeah, I think before the bye, we saw a good game from Ricky Pearsall, but that was also without Juwan Jennings. Juwan Jennings is back now for them, so I worry about targets for him. And also, yeah, I agree. Like Hunter Henry, I'm playing with Drake May back there. I'm putting him in over Ferguson with Cooper Rush.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. All right, so we got B Cork. Another question: Goddard or Pitts? Goddard at Dallas should be a great game there. Philadelphia should win pretty handsomely. Or we got Pitts, Atlanta at New Orleans. I think these are both good plays. I'm going to go with Pitts. I expect Pitts to have those big plays that he usually does. He catches those 40-yard passes downfield. I'm thinking Pitts has a good game today, so I'd be starting Pitts over Goddard.
Yeah, it's Pitts for me. Like B Cork, when Goddard has had good games, it's been when one of the two is out between A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith. They're both playing this week, so I just don't know if it's as good a game for him. First game back, too, from injury.
I completely agree. What's up, Ryan? Good morning. Welcome. Pick one, please. Collins, McLaurin, or Brian Thomas Jr. Concerned about limited snaps for Collins and Thomas, but also concerned about the tough matchup for McLaurin. Yeah, I mean, all of those are concerns for me. For as far as I go, I'm going to go Nico Collins. If he's playing, I think he's going to get enough snaps to really make an impact in this game. Houston needs a win here. They're taking on one of the best teams in the NFL against Detroit Lions. They're at home, and if Nico Collins is going to play, he's going to play enough snaps to make an impact in this game. So I'm going Collins. Great matchup. Detroit secondary can't really stop the pass. So I'm going to go there against that McLaurin and Brian Thomas Jr.
The only thing I would do is if you wanted to start Nico is I would cover yourself with if you had a roster spot to pivot to, because I did hear this morning they said Nico is a game time decision. They're going to see how he does running him through warm-ups pre-game. So I agree. If everything looks good, it's a great matchup, but I would want to have either somebody in that game or somebody in the Monday night Dolphins-Rams game that you could pivot to if for some reason during warm-ups something doesn't feel right. Maybe it's a Jonnu Smith or somebody in that Monday night game that you could pivot to as a backup option.
Yeah, good point. All right, so we got Shakira Khalil or Najee Harris. First time I've ever seen Shakira Khalil. Khalil Shakir Khalil. He tried to correct himself again. It's a little shaker. Call him Little Shaker. So Khalil Shakir or Najee Harris. You know, these are great, both great options. Najee Harris, it's really tough to sit him right now. Coming off of 3 back-to-back 100-yard games, he just looks like a different running back. They're going to need to win this game on the back of Najee Harris, and I think he's the better play. I do love Khalil Shakir. Little Shaker should have a great game, great matchup against Indianapolis, but I'd go with the running back here against Washington.
Boy, this is a tough one for me because they were both green lighters for me this week for sure. God, I love them. I love the setup, for Buffalo. We've got Keon Coleman out. We don't know for sure if Amari Cooper is playing or not. That he's questionable. But I think I agree. I'm going to lean with Najee. Najee was a green lighter for me this week also. Washington's giving up 150 yards rushing per game over the last three. Harris has had 3 top 20 running back finishes. So 20 touches in the last 2 games each. So I think I'm just going to bank on the volume of Harris. And I think that game is close enough all game where he's not taken out of the game, where he's going to have plenty of rush opportunities.
Yeah. All right. He's got another question. Khalil Shakir or Nico Collins? For this one, it's Shakir. Shakir over Nico. We just talked about Nico being a game time decision. If he plays, I think he does have a good game, but Shakir is the safer option. I'd go Shakir against the Colts. I think he has a good game.
Yeah, I agree. Colts bottom 5 in receiving yards allowed to the slot position this year. So I like Shakir.
Absolutely. All right. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to fire them off. What about Buffalo at Indianapolis? We just talked a little bit about it. Buffalo is favored by 4.5. Over under is 46.5. I think Buffalo continues to roll here. This matchup is too good against the Colts, where I think everybody eats in Buffalo. I think James Cook has a great day, the great rushing matchup for James Cook. I talked about Dalton Kincaid as my green light tight end of the week. Khalil Shakir is Shane's green light wide receiver of the week. What do we think here with this game, Shane?
I would not, until you said it right there. I'm kind of surprised that the line is that low after what we saw last week of the Colts and Joe Flacco and how they looked. I'm surprised. That seems like a pretty easy spot
for Buffalo.
Take the Bills when you've got that big of a quarterback advantage. The Colts, not a great defense. I would say, yeah, the only thing that matches up well is Buffalo is pretty bad against running backs this year in fantasy. So I would think Taylor has a pretty decent game. But yeah, I think Buffalo easily wins this.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with
just breaking news, Amari Cooper has been ruled out in that Bills game.
Wow. All right. I'm going to have to adjust some of my fantasy lineups today as we're talking through this. Amari Cooper is out. We've got another question here from Venkata. CMC, Ramondre Stevenson, J.K. Dobbins, or Najee Harris? This is a good question between these 4. I'm going to rule out Stevenson against Chicago. J.K. Dobbins, what do we got here for Dobbins? At Tennessee or at home against Tennessee, tough matchup. Yeah. Najee Harris or CMC is what it comes down to for me. And I'm going to go Najee Harris. He's a safer play. CMC is his first game back. Should he be expecting about 20 touches? I do like CMC today, but I think the safer play is to go Najee.
Yeah, I think probably the higher, safer play. I think, look and see what you're projected as. If you're projected as a heavy dog, I'd go with CMC because maybe he gets you a couple touchdowns and he racks up receptions. The other thing I had heard in that report also is they said it's going to be like 86 degrees, very humid today in Tampa Bay. So maybe while CMC feels fine, maybe conditioning comes into play. So I'd probably err with Najee on that side.
Yeah. B Cork, another question. Going forward, do you see Deontay Johnson getting a larger role for the Ravens? I mean, I do. I expected him to be in there more. Only getting one pass last week was tough on Thursday was tough to watch. I can't imagine it when a team goes out and gets a piece like Deontay Johnson, you work him in the offense. Like he's been there now for a couple of weeks. He should have had a bigger role this last game, but it doesn't make any sense to go out and get this guy and not use him the way that he should be used. So I think we see an uptick in Deontay Johnson next week. What that looks like, we'll see. But Shane, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm honestly shocked, and I don't know. Like when you see people like Amari Cooper and DeAndre Hopkins getting much more volume. Devontae Adams getting much more targets and catches in their first game and in their second game. And then this happens where Tylan Wallace is just out snapping him. I don't know. I'm concerned. Like when I was watching that game Thursday night, one of the commentators were talking about, this could be more of a kind of a nice insurance play they have in case something were to happen to Zay Flowers. I mean, I thought Bateman would go away by now, but he's not going away. And so I'm just concerned by lack of target opportunities, even if they do get him out there.
I mean, yeah, but I did say this when this trade happened. Like, you can't expect consistency from Deontay. Like,
No.
you're gonna have down games like this. So I'm not reading too much into it. I think it's still early. I think he still has a chance to have a larger role in this game or this offense and do better in weeks to come. So, B Cork, thoughts on the Estime news about him getting a larger role? Is he a good stash for dynasty purposes? I mean, yeah, I think he's a good stash.
Yeah.
I talked about him being a good stash in the beginning of the season for dynasty. Hasn't really come to fruition, but I do think he's a good stash. Javonte Williams just hasn't really panned out this year. And what do you think, Shane?
Yeah, this coaching staff and everything, they did not draft Javonte Williams. They did make an effort to draft Estime. So yeah, for dynasty for sure, I would stash him. So
yeah. All right, what's up, Culls? What's going on? Happy Sunday, buddy. Alec Pierce, Jalen Tolbert, A.D. Mitchell, Iosivas, or McLeod?
I'm going to rule out Iosivas.
Yeah, because he played on Thursday.
Yeah.
But Shane, Jalen Tolbert, is he in consideration at all? I mean, A.D. Mitchell, we saw have an incredible catch last week on the sideline, toe tapping. So maybe we see more A.D. Mitchell this week. Alec Pierce, they should be throwing a lot on the Bills, or Ray McLeod.
To me, it's one of the Colts guys, and I'm probably going to lean A.D. Mitchell with Michael Pittman out. I just think we start to see a little bit more targets for him getting worked in. So yeah, I cannot trust the second receiver in Dallas with Cooper Rush. Like, that's going to be CeeDee Lamb and maybe a little bit of Ferguson, and that's it.
Yeah. Tyrone Tracy Tutty. Hey, thanks for the update, Culls. Look at that. Way to go, Tyrone Tracy.
I was just watching that and hoping he got tackled down at the 5 so he could get some neighbors action, but no.
Yeah, you can't be so lucky with that one. But all right, anyway, let's talk about Denver at Kansas City. Kansas City is 7.5-point favorites at home. Over under is 42.5. I mean, Kansas City, they're going to win again. They're going to stay undefeated. Right? Mm-hmm. I can't wait to that Bills game. I think that's next week. Is that next week, right?
I think
they play
so.
The Bills. I'm excited for that one, but I think Kansas City wins this game. Their defense is too good. DeAndre Hopkins getting involved is too good. I just, against Denver, this should be an easy win, covering the 7.5.
Yeah, I think so also. Like, I think this is a game where they, in that home environment, I don't see Bo Nix doing much. Pierce, I said A.D. Mitchell.
Yeah, A.D. Mitchell. That's a real question in our BML league, PD. Yeah, that is a real question in our league. A.D. Mitchell, buddy.
Yeah.
All right, Jared Wise, what's going on? Still Baker as my quarterback 2 in San Francisco versus the 49ers, or Flacco? Baker or Flacco? I'm going to go Baker here. I talked about it earlier, Baker's just doing too well, with quarterback efficiency. Number 1 in passing touchdowns, number 2 in passing yards. Baker Mayfield's going to need to play well today, and I think he's been playing good enough to trust him over Flacco, who struggled last week. So,
yeah, I'm done doubting Baker, even in the matchups. Like, I didn't think he was going to – I thought he'd have a down game in Kansas City on the road without his receivers. And he still put up a pretty good, decent fantasy line. I think his floor is probably the ceiling of Flacco, I bet. So.
Yeah, I agree with that. Roger that, Coles. All right, so yeah, Kansas City, you think rolls over Denver?
Oh, yeah.
Easily. Oh, yeah. All right, Atlanta Falcons at the New Orleans Saints. Atlanta is 3.5-point favorites on the road. Over under is 46.5. The Saints, we have a new coaching change, right? So do they get the bump? Can you think they get the win at home against Atlanta, as we've seen teams do in the past when they fire their coach?
I have a better question. Can you name a starting wide receiver for the Saints?
I saw the report come through earlier, or was it last night? It listed off, I think it was on Twitter, the starting wide receivers for the Saints. And no, I couldn't, because I looked right past it. I'm like, I am not even reading that.
Yeah, it is rough. I think, which I didn't even know he was on their roster. I think MVS is going to be like their starting receiver today. So.
Okay. So you know what that means? Alvin Kamara should be getting a lot of targets today.
Bunch of
a lot
catches.
of targets.
I see a bunch of that. I see a bunch of Taysom Hill being worked in and used.
Oh, Taysom Hill.
Yep.
Love talking about Taysom Hill. Don't you
Mhm.
love that, Coles?
Oh yeah.
All right. So yeah, Atlanta wins this game. I think by 3.5 is a nice easy cover for them. What do you think?
How is it that low?
Right?
With what's happening of their offense,
It's the
and
coaching
coach?
bump. It's the coaching bump, right? You have teams that fire their coach, and then the next game they end up playing really, really well. So, but I don't think today is that day for the Saints.
It is not.
No. Okay. All right. San Francisco 49ers at Tampa Bay. 49ers are 6.5-point favorites on the road. Over under is 15.5, the biggest over under of the week. I don't like when Tampa Bay is dogs by more than 6 points. Like, it's just a lot of points for Tampa because we saw it last week. They cover, you know what I mean? So, and they're at home against San Francisco. I think I would take Tampa Bay plus 6.5 here against San Francisco.
Yeah, I think so too. I mentioned, the weather, how, 86 degrees, super humid. So that's going to be different for San Francisco dealing with, even like, if I remember correctly, like even that home game against Dallas before their bye, I don't think they ended up covering. I think it ended up being like a 6-point game because they allowed the garbage time touchdowns, to CeeDee Lamb. So
yeah. I love all the pieces in this game. It's a high over under. So I want players in this matchup. I think this is going to be one of the better games of the week. So, all right, moving on. We have Pittsburgh Steelers at Washington Commanders. Washington is 2-point favorites at home. Over under is 45.5. This is one of the spots for me where if I was picking an underdog today, I'm picking the Steelers. I had Jaden Daniels as a red light this week. I don't feel great about red lighting the quarterback 3 on the season, but this is going to be a tough matchup. And Jaden Daniels finished outside quarterback 11, like each of the last 4 times he was healthy. So he's on the bubble right now to be a starting quarterback in fantasy. And against a tough matchup against Pittsburgh, who hasn't really allowed good games from quarterbacks. So Steelers could win this game. I'm not picking them as a dog. If I was going to pick one, it would be the Steelers. What do you think?
Yeah, I think this is a low scoring game. Like, it's at the most, I think 3 either way. So I just don't think either team's going to pull away in this game.
Yeah, I agree. So the under on 45.5. Copy that.
Yeah.
All right, we got Minnesota Vikings at Jacksonville. Minnesota is 7-point favorites on the road. Over under is 43.5. 7 points. I feel like it should be more than that, but it's still a lot of points. I'm taking Minnesota in this matchup.
Yeah, I'm not.
How do you not?
Mac Jones, I just first start, like, no, I don't think so.
No, and Jacksonville is just in shambles right now. So I think Minnesota wins and wins by a lot. I think they go up big. Which means I want everybody in the Minnesota lineups. I want Aaron Jones, TJ Hawkinson, I think, has a big game today. Love Sam Darnold today. So, all right. Tennessee Titans on the road at Los Angeles Chargers. Chargers are 8.5-point favorites at home. Over under is 39.5. Second lowest over under of the week. Not a lot of points scored here. It's going to be a defensive battle. And Chargers are going to win by 8.5. Though seems like a lot of points against the Tennessee Titans. We got Will Levis back at the helm, but Chargers defense is one of the best defenses in the league. Going to be tough sledding for Will Levis. I think he makes a couple more of those Will Levis highlights that we're going to be seeing on Twitter.
Yeah, I would feel much better about it on the points if it was Mason Rudolph. But like you said, Chargers are one of the few teams that are top 10 in fewest rushing yards and fewest passing yards allowed per game. So
yes. Yeah, Chargers all day here.
Yeah.
Could Jaden do much today, Mr. Magic? Yeah, of course he can. Jaden Daniels, we've seen, in conversations being talked about as one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL right now his rookie year. What he's been able to do thus far in the season is impressive. Tough matchup against Pittsburgh, but he's the type of player that can overcome a tough matchup for sure. He's that electric on the ground. His arm is that good. And the Washington seems to be that good of a team where they could easily win this game and cover the 2 points. They could win by a touchdown easily. Pittsburgh's offense is not that great. So could he? Absolutely.
Yeah,
Would
it
I
probably just
bank?
depends. Like, who do you have as your quarterback too? Is like, to play over him. There's probably not a lot of guys. It may be like what I would play. Let's say Brock Purdy against Tampa Bay, that pass defense. I would fire up Purdy over him.
I'd play Darnold.
Darnold's
Darnold
another
over
one
him.
based off of that. But I don't know how much more than that. Like, I'm not benching him for like a Patrick Mahomes or anything like that. But if you had someone like Purdy or Darnold, then yeah.
B Cork dudes, I have Drake May and Caleb in my starting lineup right now. My only pickup options are Flacco, Mac Jones, or Will Levis. What should I do? You ride it out, buddy. You ride it out. Stick with May and Caleb in your starting lineup and just hope for the best.
Yeah,
That's all I can say.
I think with Caleb in there, that's not a bad matchup against the Patriots pass defense. And then on the Drake May side, what you just hope for is kind of what you saw last week. It's not, maybe you don't get as much, but you get 6 points from like 60 yards rushing that he has. And him and Bo Nix are like sneakily adding in a lot of rushing fantasy numbers into their games each week.
I agree. I would be considering picking up Flacco though and starting him over Drake May.
Yeah, if there was one, that would probably be it. But man, I was all over Flacco last week against the Vikings.
I know. He's been burning people, but that's when you want to play people in fantasy because you can never, the expectations never end up being reality in fantasy football. And Flacco at home against the Bills, they're going to need to be putting up a lot of points. He's going to need to be throwing a lot. I don't know. I would be considering it.
I don't think, based off the stats for the year, like I would say, I don't see Drake May going over 200 yards passing against this Chicago defense.
I could see Flacco going over 200 yards passing against the Bills, though.
I could see that. So yeah, so there you go. Maybe it is Flacco over Drake. But I do like if you had to drop Drake though, like he's got some great matchups coming up.
Yeah, I wouldn't drop him.
Yeah.
No. All right. Play Taysom Hill or Keenan. We have a Taysom Hill question here. Shane O'Mac. Should he play Taysom Hill or Keenan Allen today?
100% you play Taysom Hill over Keenan Allen. 100%. We just talked about how decimated they are. They're also without – this is what else I like about Taysom Hill. They're without their backup running backs again. So they're without Jamal Williams. They're without Kendre Miller. So anytime they get near the goal line, they're going to put Taysom in there. And he's going to get some catches during the game. And
could this be a game where Taysom Hill runs for a touchdown, throws for a touchdown, and catches a touchdown?
It could be, yes.
It could be.
Yes. Ask yourself that question, and then ask yourself, what's the percentage that Keenan Allen catches a touchdown pass?
You're absolutely right. Go play Taysom Hill, man. Play Taysom Hill today.
Yeah.
I love it. Also, Downs over D-Hop just because of PS2.
Yeah, Patrick Surtain shadow coverage.
Patrick Surtain. Okay, I was thinking. I'm like PS2 playing.
Yeah,
video games.
I like Downs. Like with Flacco in there, there's not a lot of people on bench. Like Downs is like an automatic wide receiver 2 start for me. I mean, as bad as Flacco was last week, Downs still put up, I think it was 12 or 13 PPR points. I think the Chiefs will move Hopkins around a lot, play him in the slot. I don't know if Surtain will follow him in the slot or not, but I think Downs is just higher upside in a game where they're going to be throwing a bunch. I like him.
Yeah. I agree. All right, you guys got any more questions? Fire them off. Go right ahead. Did we talk about we talked about Pittsburgh and Washington. Minnesota at Jacksonville, another ugly game. Minnesota is favored by 7 points. We did talk about that. Yeah. Minnesota's going to roll Jacksonville. Talked about Tennessee and the Chargers. Next game we have is the Philadelphia Eagles in a divisional matchup against the Dallas Cowboys. Philly is favored by 7.5. Over under is 43.5. Is that line too low for the Philadelphia Eagles? Should it be 10.5? I
really thought it'd be 9 at least. Honestly, I'm really kind of surprised. I don't know if it's because there was those weird reports about Jalen Hurts has a foot issue, and we may see Kenny Pickett, which I never thought was going to happen. So maybe that's what drew it down a little bit. But yeah,
Mhm.
this is a pretty smash game for Philadelphia. And they get A.J. Brown back. He's fine. 100%, had full practices 2 days a week this week. So
Yeah, absolutely. Rank these three rest of season: Puka Nacua, Zay Flowers, Drake London. Oh, that's tough. Puka Nacua, Zay Flowers, Drake London. I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go. I'll go Puka Nacua. When he's healthy, he is heavily targeted, so he is at the top of those three. Then it is London. Then it is Flowers for me. Shane, what do you think?
yeah, so Puka, I think, should be back to being healthy. He's number one for me. I would probably, at this point in time this week, just because of London with that hip pointer injury, he's going to play today, but I would probably go then Flowers, then London, but those could flip-flop if we see a full game where Flowers doesn't have any problems with his hip issue today. Then I would put London over Flowers just because of the target competition Flowers is going to have each week with if we ever get Deontay Johnson more involved, but the two tight ends. I mean, you saw he was 4 catches for like 40 yards on Thursday night, and that was with Isaiah likely out.
Mhm.
So it's always going to be a target competition for him, but those could flip flop by this time next week. But I think Puka's the clear one.
Yeah, I agree. All right, back to Philadelphia at Dallas. Yeah, Philadelphia is going to win. I think they win by more than 7.5. I think everybody on Philly is gonna shine today. Saquon Barkley, of course. I just got a text. I bet you're not confident enough to bench your kicker from one of my opponents. He wants me to bench my kicker. You're funny, Bartoletti. You are funny. All right, let's see. We got a couple more questions. Garrett Wilson, Nico, or Tyreek Hill? Wow. What's going on with Tyreek Hill, man?
That is some weird cryptic reports coming out of Miami the last day.
Yeah.
I mean,
I thought there was a chance he was going to get traded to Kansas City on the trade deadline day.
He's battling some hand issue or something and going to be up to how his body feels that day. I just don't think I would even try to chance it with the last two guys. I just go Garrett Wilson. Even with the great game from Devontae Adams last week, Wilson had even a better game.
Yeah.
So I think this is a heavy pass game for the Jets. So I would just err on the side of it's safer, and you could argue Garrett Wilson has about the same upside as the other two.
I agree. Yeah, Garrett Wilson all day. Another question, though, matching that. Who is a higher odds of playing, Tyreek or Nico? I mean, they're both game time decisions. I would go Nico. I think Nico has a better chance of playing, but you're flipping a coin there. You're rolling the dice.
Yeah, they're both like going to go. The reports are they both are going through pregame workouts, warm-ups to just see how they respond and feel. So it is just going to be a completely. You have to wait until those see. And like I said before, like if you got Tyreek, pick up like Jonnu Smith and have him as a flex option, and you put Tyreek in your flex. And then if he can't play, then you just switch to Jonnu, who he was my green light tight end of the week this week. So,
yep, I like it. All right, New York Jets at Arizona. The Jets are favored by 1.5 on the road. Over under is 46.5. Arizona looked pretty good last week against Chicago, and they've been sneakily pretty good. Are they number one in their division right now?
Yes, they are.
Yeah, they're leading the NFC West right now, which is crazy. And the Jets, they've played better last week than they have been playing. So that speaks to this line only being favored by 1.5 on the road. I mean, what's your gauge on this? I feel like the Jets should win this game.
I feel like every time the Jets give us some good performance, then the next week it comes crashing down. And I feel like that's what could happen this week again. Like,
oh God, I hope.
I think this is a good James Conner week, actually. Like the way to beat the Jets is through the ground. They are giving up much more on the ground than they do against the pass. So I love this game for James Conner this week, and I think Arizona wins it.
Yes, I agree. I think that's where you're at with James Conner. I don't think Arizona wins. I think the Jets end up winning. With their offensive weapons are too good with Devontae Adams, Garrett Wilson, Brees Hall, even Braylon Allen. And I think Arizona's defense isn't very good. The Jets defense is better than Arizona's. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with the Jets here. I'm gonna go with the Jets. I think they cover the 1.5. But it should be a great game. I think the over under at 46.5 is a little low. I feel like it's gonna be the over on that game. So. All right, moving on. We have the Detroit Lions Sunday Night Football at Houston Texans. Did you see the Texans are debuting their red uniforms?
I did see that, yeah.
Nice red uniforms. I love when teams do that, right? Especially for primetime games. It almost gives them a bump for me. When I see them wearing those uniforms, I'm like, all right, they might end up winning this game, but we'll see, man. Detroit Lions are favored by 3.5 on the road. They're the best team in football right now, even though they don't have the record to portray that. But the over-under is 49.5. We should get some fireworks on Sunday Night Football tonight. And Nico Collins game time decision. We'll see what happens there. Tank Dell is questionable, but he's expected to play. Jameson Williams back for Detroit. Ooh, I mean, what do you think happens here? Detroit going to roll again with their trick plays and win by 30?
I don't think it's a big win, no. I mean, Houston's undefeated at home this year. They're 4-0, so they obviously played much better at home. If Nico Collins is back, like, I do think this is a higher scoring game. Like, I think it's close. I don't know. Like, would you say it was 3.5? So you got the hook?
3.5.
Yeah. So that's a little tougher. I was going to say this could be like a field goal type game for me if Nico plays. If Nico doesn't, I think the Lions cover.
Yeah. Detroit's very susceptible to the pass. So if Nico plays and Tank Dell's playing, anything could happen for Houston. But I think Detroit wins.
Yeah,
it's going to be a great game regardless. I think we're in line for a good primetime matchup. And then Monday Night Football, we got the Miami Dolphins at the Los Angeles Chargers. Los Angeles Rams. Rams are favored by 1.5 at home. Over-under is 48.5. Should be another good game. Miami just can't seem to figure it out right now. Tough game last week. Taking on the Rams, their defense is not very good at all. I think Miami could actually surprise some people and win this game. But I'm picking the Rams at the end of the day.
Yeah, I like the Rams too. I think this is the start of the Rams making a little run here, and I think they will be competing in that division to win it. Like, they're all getting healthy, not only Nakua and Kupp, but their offensive line is getting healthy. They're getting the starters back there. I play in a couple IDP leagues, and I've picked up 2 of their defensive linemen, which are standing out. Jared Verse. They're playing much better as the year has gone on. So I think it's really going to be between the Rams and the 49ers fighting for that division over the next 7 weeks.
Yep. All right. So let's talk about some start sit questions that we have in our fantasy lineups. Go ahead and pull up your lineups, Shane. See if you got any questions. Our FBG, our fantasy footballers. Not the fantasy footballers. It's the football guys bowl. Sorry, my mistake. We got Baker. We have Caleb Williams on the bench. I think we're both happy that we're starting Baker over Caleb.
Yeah.
Let's see. We got Ray Davis in our RB2 spot. That is
the RB2 spot in this league has been a nightmare all year.
Yeah, I mean, you got Ray Davis, Jaleel McLaughlin as Isaac Groendo, Dearness Johnson, Zamir White, just a pile of trash at RB2. So Ray Davis, let's do it. Let's roll it out there.
He scored at least.
He gets big plays, man. He's a big play guy, so I like it.
And then we got did you say we got to get Coleman out of there though?
Keon Coleman, yes. I was just going to get to that. I'm going down the roster here.
Okay.
So Keon Coleman, we're going to sit. Do we start Parker Washington versus Minnesota? Or do we go
Westbrook Akini? He has scored in 4 straight, but the matchup's horrible. And it's a horrible he switches back to his horrible quarterback. Let's go Parker.
Or do we pick up Mac Hollins scored a touchdown last week, had 5 catches for 30 yards. A.D. Mitchell, we talked
Oh.
about him.
Yeah, with both those receivers out in Buffalo, I don't mind that pick up and play.
Mac Hollins?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's do it. Let's pick up Mac Hollins. Who are we dropping here? Romeo Dobbs, Elijah Moore. We'd probably drop Elijah Moore.
Yeah, Moore can go.
All right, let's do it. All right, team. We got Keon Coleman. We're subbing out for Mac Hollins. Let's go, baby. Let's get a big game from Mac Hollins, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Then we got Pop Douglas, McBride. We're good there. Washington defense. We're good there. Okay. All right, cool. My team for the Fantasy Roadshow Dynasty League.
You don't even worry about that.
Yeah, I mean, I got Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. I also had Derrick Henry, Rashad Bateman, and Rashad Bateman, who scored a touchdown. So, yeah, I'm sitting pretty good over here, man. I could just sit the rest of my players and not worry about it. But, yeah, I'm good there. I don't have anything to consider in this game. My Thunderdome League, my Dynasty League that I have with a bunch of my buddies, CJ Stroud, Jalen Hurts, my quarterbacks, David Montgomery, Connor, Kareem Hunt is my 3 running backs. I got Cooper Kupp. Tank Dell is questionable. So here's my question here. We got another question. I played the Giants D, man. This hurts.
Yeah, dude, Mr. Magic, this game hurts for a bunch of us. I've got neighbors in like 4 different leagues, and it is just awful.
That's no bueno.
I mean, the only thing good from this game has been Chuba Hubbard.
Yeah, that's tough. All right, so I have let's see, I got Marvin Harrison versus the Jets. We had him as a red light, so I'd like to sub him out. I got Tank Dell is questionable on Sunday Night Football, but he is going to play, so hopefully he has a good game, good matchup. I have Cortland Sutton here at Kansas City. That's a terrible matchup. Don't really want to play Cortland Sutton. Nico Collins, I can't really trust him to play, though. So what do you think I should do here?
You don't have anybody else like from that Sunday night or Monday night that you could plug in if Nico.
Tank Dell. I got.
So it'd be playing one or the other or both?
Well, I want to play Tank Dell. I'm going to leave him in my lineup because he's expected to play.
Yeah.
But I have Cooper Kupp, DeAndre Hopkins, and Devontae Smith as my wide receivers. But I also have Marvin Harrison in my lineup right now. Do I trust Marvin Harrison, or I can put him in my flex and sub out for? Let's see. I don't really have much going on.
I would, if we knew Nico was playing for sure, I would put Nico in over Harrison.
Yeah, but I can't bank on that.
Yeah, there's no
Gabe Davis.
No, Gabe Davis is out. Or no, he's playing.
He's playing. Yeah,
he's playing.
Gabe Davis is playing.
He's playing. Yeah, he's playing. But no, not with.
I think I'll just ride it out and hope for the best for Harrison.
Yeah,
that's tough. That is tough. And then Coles and I are in edgers. We have Tracy, which scored a touchdown, 84 yards. Not bad. Mm-hmm. We had Joe Burrow, JT Sanders, who caught a touchdown. That's great to see. But we have DJ Moore, Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle. Nico Collins is in our flex spot, so we need to keep an eye on that. I don't think we have any backups just in case. Antonio Gibson, Rashad. Yeah, we need to figure something out here as I'm talking about it now. This is not great, man. We could pick up Mac Hollins. Coles, are you still on stream? Chime in and be here because if Nico Collins does not play tonight, we are in trouble, sir. I don't think he's still on. I'm going to have to call him after this. All right. Anyway, what do you got, Shane? You got anything going on with yours?
I think, man, I don't like. I am so down. Like I've one of my main leagues. I've played against Andrews. I've got neighbors going now, so this is looking awful for me. But I don't have any other plays. My only decent question was like, is DJ Moore my flex? Like he has been awful the last 2 weeks, but my only other option is Tony Pollard, and we talked about how difficult of a matchup that is for Pollard playing the Chargers, especially with Will Levis back there. So I think I'm just going to roll and stick with DJ Moore and hope they get it turned around.
That would be my suggestion as well. Just hope for the best. Sometimes it's all you can do in fantasy football. It's just hope for the best. All right, I'm going through a couple of my other leagues here. We'll see what I got. This league is just absolutely falling apart.
Oh my gosh, they're showing the pretzels in the Germany stadium that people are eating.
Yeah,
and they are like the size of like massive plates. It is crazy.
Now that Collins may play today, should I stack Stroud with him or go with Darnold? I am down against Lamar. We don't even know if Nico's going to play, buddy. Like I expect him to play, but I am not in a position to tell you that he's going to play or not. It's risky. You need a backup plan if he doesn't go in and play. With that being said, man, I still think Darnold has a better game. I think Darnold is the way to go. But Shane, what do you think?
I don't know.
Bad advice.
No, I had Darnold as a green light this week. But if I'm thinking of it from the perspective of I've played Lamar and who's got the better chance of throwing for 3 touchdowns and 300 plus yards, I'm not sure if it's Sam Darnold against Jacksonville and Mac Jones, where they're going to be up in the second half. And as they're passing limited versus Houston, whether or not Nico plays or he doesn't play against the Lions, they're probably going to be high scoring or behind, throwing more in the third and fourth quarters, no matter what. Lions are not that great of a defense against the pass. I think if I'm going with highest upside, I'd probably go with Stroud. Yeah, Lions are 4th worst passing yards allowed per game. So I think I'm going to go Stroud just on the fact of you're playing against Lamar, and he's got the better shot to have to throw more.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Also hate to ask this, but McBride or Taysom Hill?
No, that's the line in the sand. I'm not full Taysom Hill in this. And when you go,
look, we love Taysom Hill. Not enough to start him over Trey McBride.
Not over Trey McBride.
That is hilarious.
Yeah, Trey McBride's a start no matter what.
Yeah. What up, M. Dav? Need a tight end and a flex PPR. Taysom, Pitts, Pearsall, Douglas. Thanks. I'm going Taysom, Pitts. Taysom and Pitts. That's where I'm going.
Yeah, I don't mind that. Yeah, I don't mind. Usually, I would always hate going 2 tight ends.
Double tight end in there. But is Taysom even a tight end?
Taysom, I think, based on what we said earlier, like the running back's out, I think he's going to get worked in more different. So I don't think Pearsall has a lot of catches in that game. And Douglas, I mean, Chicago's tough on wide receivers. So, yeah, I agree.
All right. Beautiful. All right. So that's pretty much all I got. Anything else you got, Shane?
Nope. I don't. That's it.
That's all you got, huh? This week. You should see this lineup I have in one of my buddies' leagues just to brag. I mean, Jaden Daniels or Sam Darnold. Thanks so much. No, thank you, buddy. Thank you. Bijan Robinson, Kyron Williams as the running backs.
Oof.
Wide receivers, Drake London, Malik Neighbors, that was a terrible start to this week with Malik Neighbors. TJ Hawkinson and the tight end, and then flex Devontae Adams. On my bench, I have Amon-Ra St. Brown, Ryan Thomas Jr., Tank Dell. So the question is Devontae Adams or Amon-Ra St. Brown?
Oh, I think it's St. Brown over Adams.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Damn, that sucks. Malik Neighbors putting up an absolute
against
stinker.
This defense. I mean, I know JC Horn has been on him a lot of this game, but move him around, do stuff. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, and the team we're playing this week has Lamar Jackson and Jamar Chase. So this isn't looking good.
Mm-hmm.
Not looking good at all. All right. Pick 2. We got Downs, Moore, Mooney, Monty.
Oh man, do you know how good
Wow.
Darnell Mooney has been like over the last couple of weeks?
Wow. Go ahead and spit
He's-
some facts, Shane.
He has been really, really good. Like
I
I don't
know.
have it up here, but I want to say he's been over like 15 fantasy points like the last 3 weeks or something.
He definitely has been. Downs, Moore, Mooney, Monty.
I'm going to take out DJ Moore in this equation.
You know, Montgomery, as good as he is, he's very touchdown dependent.
He's very touchdown dependent. I know. I
He
was
doesn't
almost
score.
leaning. Yeah, if this is a PPR league, I'd almost
Mhm.
go. I think Downs and Mooney.
I would agree with that. If it is, it should be a PPR because PPR is standard. People get on the page. Mooney and Downs. I think that's where we go here. Oh,
my
DJ Moore, please do
God.
something. Please do
Now
something.
Neighbors
today.
just got hurt.
You got to be kidding me.
He finally caught something like a 20-yard catch, and then he's slow getting up, holding his
I'm
head.
just mad that I trusted in my lineup with Devontae Adams and Amon-Ra St. Brown. I should have thought about that more. That was a big miss on my part.
I don't know what he's held his head, but then he's holding his hand. I'm hoping it's not the head actually. So I don't know.
Absolutely brutal. All right. Well, that does it for our Sunday live stream. We appreciate everybody chiming in and asking questions. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, follow us on social media. Good luck to everybody on this beautiful Sunday. May all of your fantasy teams win and may all of your bets hit. We will see you next week for our red light, green light, week 11. And Shane, how do you say buckle up in German?
Scrutiny, buckle it up.
Go Dallas, go Bears, go Lions.